Well, I think we're going to start our second project of 2013 here. Something as, it's very important and it's starting to rot away quite bad. And I'm going to go show you what it is right now, and I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. Well, you remember when I built this, it's on one of my earlier projects. Well, in spite of all the paint I put on here, oil base at that, well, we're going to have to get rid of this top. This here is the same material. This is 1/4" Luan, just like this. This has about 5 or 6 coats of Rust-Oleum spray paint on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off even with these 2x4s here. See, there's a little overhang there. We're going to cut it off. And on the air intake side for the generator, you can see that I got quite a hangover here. I would say 4.5 inches or so. We're going to cut that off, even though it's pretty bad. We're not going to cut all this. We're going to leave this on. We're just going to take the hinges off. We're going to remove this whole thing, put it on that work platform over there, and we're going to put 26 gauge galvanized, which is the thinnest galvanized I could get. Cost me $20 to have a piece cut for this. And we're going to, after we trim these edges off, we're going to bend the galvanized over and nail it to the edges of the 2x4 here. And the overhang that you see here is going to be it. We're not going to be able to have this one because this isn't strong enough. And I could have got a bigger piece of galvanized, which I was originally going to do, bring it over and fold it over. Well, earlier in the year I could have done that, but this plywood has gotten so bad that it's even doubtful that the middle part over in these areas are any good. So I picked up the galvanized today, 26 gauge. We're going to bring it over. I just got to get my gloves out of the toolbox here. Well, we're going to get started on this. This is lovely, isn't it? That's the veneer area, part of the Luan. But I'm going to cut this edge off. I'm not going to do any cutting on this until I remove the hinges and stuff. Well, when I trim this off, even with the 2x4 that's under here, then metal will hold this down. The metal will be folded over and nailed onto the edge of the 2x4. So we'll try to get some of this crap out of here so that we'll have such a mess in the yard. Alright, we're going to remove the screws here now. There's no screw in this very end here because it only goes through the 1/4" Luan, but this part here goes into the 2x4, which is laying on the flat like all the 4 sides of this thing. Now, we'll do that, and then of course when I put this up, I'll have to line up so that it goes back into the same holes again, because I'm going to be going through the metal, the galvanized sheet metal that I'm going to be putting over this. How's the battery bar on that?
Still down to 1.
Okay, did you record it all as you click?
No.
What I'll do is I'll get any of this loose veneer off of here. don't really have to take too much off because it'll be up underneath the galvanized anyways. The wood has already been damaged, so. But grabbing this like that, you can see what happens. Well, I thought paint would protect it, but you know, the same way with my deck. I don't care what I use on it. Paint does not work, especially the latex. Now this was oil-based that I put on here. Okay. Alright, now what's going to happen here, now if you take a look in here, this is one of the overhangs. I'm going to just cut it flush with this 2x4 here. And the same with this side here. This is going to get all cut off flush with the edge of this 2x4 here. And the same with this one here. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright. Well, if you take a look here, I've marked it all out. This is, of course, is the front part where you grab a hold of and lift it up. I'm going to take this thing off the platform and I'm going to cut rather with the 10 snips where I have to fold over. Folks, what I am doing here is using this 2x4 as a rough estimate of the fold over, which is going to be about 1.5 inches over to here on the edge of this. So we got this thing upside down on this sheet metal that I showed you earlier in the video, and it's not perfect because I didn't allow for the 1/4 inch Luan. I should have had the sheet metal cut 1/4 inch in each dimension more to allow for the Luan. So we're shy 1.5 inches here, but it's not a big deal. It's going to be bent over and nailed to the side of this. What I'm going to do, if you come over here, you'll see the same thing here. We're going to mark this out with my marking pen. Hope this marker is any good. If not, we'll get another one. And then we're going to do a cut there. And then we're going to make it here. We'll do a cut here. Mark it here. Mark it over here. Make a cut here. Okay. Okay. Pretend this is this here. Okay? This part here. Okay. We have to go over here. What we have to do is we have to cut out this part of the metal here. to allow here and here so that this thing will close down properly. So first things first, we'll just use the edge of this 2x4 as the mark for that. And then we're going to put a line here, mark over here, and another mark over here. And what we're going to do here is cut this out. The same here, we cut this out. So what's going to happen is this is going to get folded up, this is going to get folded up, and the other sides are going to get folded up. So we're ready to go, I think. We got the mark on here. And get the mark here. Okay. All right. Now if you take a look here, how well you can see that with the reflection, but I made marks all the way around here. What we're going to do is take the tin snips and we're going to cut around the necessary places. In those little, I've got to make some notches in the front like I showed you earlier, and we'll proceed to do that now. So I'm going to get the tin snips. These are probably not the best tin snips. I just grabbed the first ones I could grab. Okay. They're pretty crummy tin snips. I got a bunch of different kinds of tin snips, but they're all put away in the toolbox in the back of the shed. Now I got to do the bending routine here. If you look here, I got this, so this edge folds up. Here's the 2x4 on the flat, which should be part of the cover. This will bend up. The 2x4 ends here, and the other 2x4 that's on the flat will be over here. And there's a space here because that's got to allow for the framework. You know what I mean. So we cut out one. This gets folded up onto the 1/4 inch, the bottom side of the 1/4 inch Luan. This gets folded up this way. Pretty much self-explanatory. What I'm going to do now is I've got to try to find my metal folding tool to start this. Once I start it, then when I put the cover in place, I can just bang it all up in there. We're going to come back on the video when I find that tool. I hope I can find it. Alright, I not only found the metal bender, which, by the way, you can buy at Home Depot. People have asked me about this. But I also found my tin snips, my good tin snips. Left and right hand angle. And I got a couple more too. This here cuts pretty good. This was the one I had many years when I first started out. When I had my old 50 Studebaker and I used to do sheet metal work on that. Pop rivets and all that stuff. Okay, we're going to take this and start doing some bending. We just got to start it. We don't go too crazy with it. We do this down here. Keep it pretty straight. I can't take this and lay this in the deck, in between the deck boards and bend it over because there's too many bends here that has to be done, and that may be good for one of these bends, but the rest are going to have to be done this way anyway. So. Might as well just do it. Get this up far enough. That when I lay the top in here, I'll just be able to hammer up the sides, bring them in. We'll come back on this video when I get some more of this pre-bending done. Don't go away. Get yourself a cup of coffee or a strawberry shortcake, and by the way, get me one too. Thank you. We'll do some more pre-bending here. Need to go too far because I'm going to finish that up when I get the thing on there. Turn this around.
By the way, as I said, Home Depot sells these things. They also sell a longer blade, a wider blade that goes on these. They sell them separate, of course. Now, I don't need to take up a lot of video time by showing you the other two sides that I got to fold up, but this gives you the general idea that you've got to fold up this side and this side, and then I'll lay the cover, this thing here, on top of it, and then I'll finish out with these little corners here. These things here may be a little bit tricky to get into place. Try to fold the metal over to keep the water out. Now, I'm going to take RTV and seal up all these corners. Okay, if you gander over here, I'll show you my method to my madness. Okay, there she is. Now, like I say, I didn't allow for the 1/4-inch plywood, and I only figured for 1.5 inches. That's what happens, well, I'll never become a designer. A jackass of all trades and master of none, as I've said so many times. So you can see that once I get this all banged in, then I'll nail this, probably using roofer nails, maybe pre-drilling so I can get the nail through. This piece here gets folded over onto here, and then this goes over onto that. This is cut out so that the 2x4 framework will clear. This gets bent up and nailed in. I got to hammer all this in yet. The same with this. What I got to do is I got to cut this piece off. I overlooked it. This has got to come out. This either comes out or it gets folded in. These pieces get folded onto here. Over on this side, we got to do some little bending and folding over. So basically, that's the way she's going to be. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hammer all this in now and cut out that other piece I just showed you. And then what I'm going to probably do is stick some silicone in these areas here underneath onto the thing to keep the wood from getting any worse. I don't think I need to reinforce this. I was going to drop a 2x4 from here to here and, you know, brace it, but it's pretty good. We don't have cookouts anymore, so the kids aren't going to go sitting on the thing or anything like that. So that's it. We'll be back on the video in a minute here. I got to do some hammering here. Okay, we're not going to do too much yet until I get that little piece cut out on the other side that I showed you. Drop a little silicone in there. Naturally, I don't have very much left. It's the story of my life. I'm always out of this and out of that. this here over the original plywood. This is the part that I siliconed. Trim this a little bit. Get that in there. Now, if you take a look at that crappy job I did, I don't know if you can see it or not. Now, it's a little better view, I think. And I use these roofing nails here, but because I'm going into the galvanized, I'm going to hold a nail with a pair of pliers and see if I can do it without pre-drilling. This is 26 gauge galvanized, so I have no idea if I can nail through it or not. That worked out good. I did one off camera. I hold the nail with the pliers. Takes a little longer this way, but it sure is better than banging your fingers. If they paid me by the hour, look at the money I'd make. But then again, they wouldn't hire me because I'm too damn slow. That's all, just hold it like that, you know? Alright, I got it all nailed in, as you can see here. Had to leave these open for the frame of the, you know, generator house to clear. And that's there, that's bent over. I need more caulking in here, but I'm not too worried about the underside. I'm worried about any water that might get in there, like in these areas here. I can stick something in there, I guess, at a later date after it's on. So this is how I did it. I just folded it over here, smoothed this out so you don't get cut on the edges here, and nailed all the way around. And coming back around the side here again, same thing here, bent over. And nailed in. I mean, there's little imperfections, it's not perfect. Here comes the moment I and also you have been waiting for. Will this thing fit? Did I measure it right? There's a 50-50% chance one way or the other. Perfecto! Well, the only thing I gotta do here is I gotta get these hinges bolted to this, and because of this steel being, you know, a little higher because there's a fold, but on this hinge side here, it isn't folded at a perfect 90-degree sharp bend. If I had the metal shop do it, it would be another 20 bucks, and I wasn't about to do that. So we'll get this down, we'll drill this, and put this into, and we'll be done. Folks, you don't need to see me do that. You've seen me screw before. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching this project. Well, the hinges are screwed down. I just didn't put the end screw on like I did the first time when I originally made this, because it's only the 1/4" Luan underneath here. And there's no real point to it because there's a 2x4 on the flat right here, which comes out to about here. So I put longer screws in here. I put 1 5/8" length screws in here instead of the ones I originally had to allow for the metal. And because I can't get a real sharp bend on that, it's away a little bit. The idea is to keep the water off the generator. There's no big deal. Water's going to get in here. That's not a problem as long as it doesn't get up underneath and damage the wood any more than it is now. So I got silicone in this area here so that the water won't go in through here, and I've got silicone on the edge here. You've seen me screw before. You've seen me screw before. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching this project.